welcome to Raging Gracefully Presents. This is Nina Collins from The Wolfer. This week, I'm very happy to be in conversation with my dear friend, Stacey London. Stacey, as many of you know, was the star for many years of What Not to Wear. She's a fashion icon, a magazine editor, an all-around super fabulous and funny person, and she has just in her early 50s become a CEO for the first time of a company called State of Menopause. And here we are having a conversation about becoming an entrepreneur in the middle of life, and feminism, and all things menopause, and products that work on our skin, and everything else. So enjoy. It's Nina Collins from The Wolfer, and today I'm here with Stacey London, a new friend I adore. Hey, Stacey.
Also a Wolfer, by the way. Hello.
Wolfer. And Stacey, as you all know, is the fabulous stylist, fashion icon from What Not to Wear.
I really look good today.
She's exuding fabulousmost right now. Super generous, just like all Wolfers. And she's now made a huge pivot, one of my favorite silly words, most overused word of the last, decade?
Except for unprecedented, yes.
There you go. And Stacey has become a CEO, kind of overnight, of a company called State of Menopause. So welcome, Stacey, and tell us what State of Menopause is, and tell us why you got there, how you got there.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for having me, Nina. I'm always happy to talk to you, even if it's like in a public forum, as opposed to like texting you madly at midnight. But I am, yes. So if you know me, you might know me from What Not to Wear, if you know me at all from the show that I did on TLC. And I spent probably the last about 15 years on television. And, not just because of the pandemic, but I would say I joke around a lot about 47 being quote unquote my last good year. And the way that I say that is really more of, that's Dora in the background, guys, if you hear her.
I have to interrupt you, Stacey, to say that I just read a study that 47 is the year of peak unhappiness for women.
So, yes, this does not surprise me. I mean, granted, I think that a lot of it is, like in my case, was environmental, like circumstantial. And I've talked a lot about this on various podcasts that I had like pretty major spine surgery that took a really long time to recover from. And then my dad got very sick and passed away. And this was, within the span of 4 years. And I talked about a lot of the, the kind of grief that was associated both with the surgery and with losing my father. But what I didn't realize was that I got my period twice in January. I had the spine surgery in December of 2016. I got my period twice in January of 2017, and then it disappeared.
Never again.
And everybody says, right, it's like a year from your last period that you're really in menopause. But I really didn't start having perimenopausal symptoms until after I stopped getting my period.
Yeah, that happens for some women. Yeah, my hot flash got much worse after my period.
Much worse. And what really dawned on me was that all of this stuff was happening at a very like existential crisis point in my life, right?
Yeah, when did your dad die along that timeline? He died in 2017.
Yeah, he died in 2018. At the end of 2018. And the thing about it is that it really, all of 2017 was sort of about my physical and emotional recovery from stress, but from surgery, which caused a lot of stress. But at the same time, then 2018 was really about taking care of my dad. Yeah. And the thing about it was that, yes, there was a lot of struggle. There would have been like mental strife, psychological strife because of those things. But what I didn't realize was also happening was that I was like thrown into perimenopause and not allowed to take hormones because of autoimmune issues that I have. And so I really suffered pretty much every perimenopausal symptom there was. And so not
only are you going through hell, surgery, loss of your father, but you're going through something physical that you're not even prepared for, aware of, informed about. You don't have the strategy to manage it. Like
no strategy. Right. And no idea that all these symptoms were connected. I had no idea that getting food allergies and headaches and having night sweats and hot flashes and insomnia, that they were at all related, or my skin got really itchy. And I started to lose collagen. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I joke around 47 my last good year because it was the last year that I remember where I wasn't complaining about something or some kind of discomfort, which, rapidly became clear to me that I was in perimenopause. And during the pandemic, before the pandemic, let me go back a little ways. I had gone out to LA to meet with a bunch of television channels and a bunch of different streaming channels and networks to talk about the idea of transformation in middle age, because that's really what I was feeling. I was feeling like there's a great show here that isn't just about some sort of physical transformation, but about finding what meaning and purpose in midlife is about. Like, that's what, we prize youth and wealth and thinness in this country. Why can't we kind of reframe the idea of what middle life looks like, particularly for women? Because, men have it pretty easy. Yeah. And I was roundly rejected. Everybody told me it was an unsexy idea, nobody would watch. And I left not only feeling like, my ego was a little bit bruised about the idea, but even more so this idea that, like, I was past my prime.
Right.
That I was the one who they were passing on, not just the idea. Yeah. And, there was a real, ego shatter for me in that, because I think that my identity had been so kind of, associated with being on television.
Yeah, being this fabulous TV persona. Yeah.
I mean, fabulous, of course, but no, I'm joking. But, this idea that I had already had a career as a magazine editor, and here I had become sort of, a style expert, but on television. And I felt like I was using the same set of skills in a different way. And during the pandemic, like when things got dark, one of the things for me was the amount of clarity that I was able to kind of come to, because we were by ourselves, right? We were alone and sheltering in place. I'm already feeling so nostalgic
for the pandemic, I have to say.
You and my girlfriend both. My girlfriend is nostalgic. I mean, we didn't do enough resting.
I'm excited for the summer, but I am definitely looking back on the last year with like a fondness that I think will be with me forever. But anyway, go on.
I mean, I wish everybody could say that. I feel like we were very lucky in that regard. And I feel
lucky.
like
I know it's a
very lucky
thing to say. I realize, but I agree with you. But also, the opportunity for clarity was amazing if you were privileged enough to have it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And not just that. I mean, it was that, look at what happened during this year. We saw so much bubble to the surface in terms of like racial, economic, social justice. And for me, it was like something bubbled up inside of me. And one of the things that I kept thinking about is like, what do I want my life to look like coming out of this? Yeah. And, even though I get exhausted now, I was out today and I was like, I did 3 things and I was like, this was way too much. I got to take it much easier. I had to be much slower.
What did you do? You mean like you saw 3, like you did 3 meetings or something?
Yes, I had 3 meetings, right? And I was like,
that was normal. And right now I know that used to be totally normal, but now that feels a little heavy.
It's a little heavy, right? That's a heavy day. It's a heavy lift for a Friday. But anyway, my point was that during this time of clarity, it was really like, what do I want to do with my life? Am I going to go back out and like try and figure out what I want to do in television? Am I going to produce something? And like, maybe all of those things will still hold true. But at the same time, I had already been a beta tester for this company called State of Menopause, right? My friends who founded it, it was a parent brand that was going to make lots of different kinds of brands. But the one brand that really obviously appealed to me was State of Menopause, because nobody at that point had really been talking about it at all.
It's really only the last 12 months there are all these products. Yeah,
exactly. And one of the things about being a beta tester was we got to, we had say in every product that was made. Was it, did it do what it say it was going to do? Was it appropriate for the symptom that we were, having problems with? And, how many products did we want? And I was one of 100 people who were testing for all of these products. And during the pandemic, the parent company decided to pivot into, there we go with that word again, but decided to pivot in a different direction in tech. And they didn't want their brands to, become orphans. Yeah. And the founders came to me and said, you were a really noisy beta tester. You had a lot of opinions about everything that we were doing. What about taking this over? Like, what about acquiring this company or the lion's share of equity in the company and doing something with it? And to be honest with you, I was like, all the things that women doubt themselves, right? All the things like, I can't do this. I don't have an MBA. right? I can't do this. I don't know about D2C businesses. I don't know about that. Instead of thinking about what I do actually know and what I am actually good
And you
at.
know
And
so
so there
much.
were,
Of course, it's so great for the aging brain to take on challenges. And of course you can take on these challenges.
but neuroplasticity is real, people.
Yeah.
If you have any doubt, I'm 51 years old and I went from being, I will say that I really, the big thing for me was that I had to think about what do I bring to this that does make this a smart idea.
Yeah.
And being not able to create a show that was meant to be around this idea of transformation and understand what a pivot can look like in middle age, I really started to think about how symptoms affect us. And that reminded me of what I'd already done my whole life as a stylist, right? I was always manipulating external, like sort of physicality in order to create an internal psychological shift. And that's what I'm trying to do here. This company really sort of has two tiers in terms of what we are trying to do for perimenopausal symptoms and people experiencing them. One, it's to recognize that those symptoms are not just middle age issues, although obviously if you're coming to it in middle age, we want to address age and ageism and age adjacencies. But I think we're also very much concerned with women of any age who have had serious health issues that then after the trauma of having breast cancer, endometriosis, or premature ovarian insufficiency or radical hysterectomy, you are then thrown into another kind of hell, which just increases the trauma. And then, there aren't a lot of people talking about gender transition and the kind of true psychological trauma that once you have, really embodied your own identity, your physiology sort of betrays you. And I think that there's a lot to examine there. So one thing that we want the company to do in sort of the consumer product goods realm is really to have rapid response solutions for the symptoms that we can make rapid solutions for. So that is very important to me.
So tell us right now how the kind of products right now are mostly beauty and supplement, right?
I don't really call them beauty. I don't call them beauty. No, I call them topicals and ingestibles. And part of the reason for that is I'm not solving for your wrinkles. I'm not really interested in that. I'm interested in solving for your discomfort. And the company started, yes. And supplements, look, I am very curious to get feedback. I'm always telling people, please write me at heystacy@stateofmenopause.com to let me know how you feel about supplements. Supplements are something that work over time. And again, I feel very strongly about in the moment, what can we do to help you solve?
Yeah, I mean, I always found the problem with supplements, it's not that they don't necessarily work. It's that like when I first started getting symptoms, I went and bought like $700 worth of supplements. And
that's a lot of money.
They work over time. You take them, you have no idea which one is working. They don't seem to do anything. A lot of doctors tell you they don't really do anything. I mean, magnesium is one of the only ones I swear by. I take magnesium every day. But some women love them. Some women say black wash saved her life. I mean, it's very
exactly. And also, look, it's not just about what the supplement is. It's about what the quality of that supplement is and the supply chain and how it's made. And we are very, very conscious of those things. But on the deeper level, I think we really want to talk about the things that people, one, I think have heretofore been very ashamed of talking about. At the Wolfers, you guys are a very open community that has talked a lot about menopause, but that is not indicative of everybody. And I think that in a lot of ways, this company really is out to reframe the idea of menopause, because menopause and aging get conflated a lot of the time, to really talk about what the health issues are and to inform and educate people so that one, it's not so scary when you're in it. Two, it's not so scary because you know what's coming. It's sort of our job to educate and inform younger generations. And now that we see
such a big part of it, letting people know what's coming, how they can manage it, also that you're going to feel great and better afterwards, like really.
And also what the things are that you need to look for afterwards, right? There are so many things that can happen in perimenopause that are underlying health conditions that if you are aware of, you can sort of work towards now.
Autoimmune, thyroid, stuff you need to really be thinking about. I mean, there's a lot of kind of preparation that one should be told about in their late 30s, early 40s to kind of expect, because you have
absolutely
coming. So ingestibles and topicals.
Yes,
So
so I call them topicals because, I would say that while we have skincare, we are solving for the issues of skincare that are presented in perimenopause. So that can be dry skin, itchy skin, cystic acne, hot flashes, joint pain, muscle fatigue, things like that. That we wanted to start, and again, I wasn't the original founder of the company, but the way that I am pivoting the company now is really about what can you do in this moment to make yourself feel better. And that for me is the first line of defense when it comes to perimenopause. We really
a sleep solution.
We have both very potent lavender bath salts and CBD oil, and the combination, honestly, of the two is both great for irritability, anxiety, and insomnia. But we have a long way to go. We're just getting started in terms of symptoms that we're going to start solving.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Kind of in a fantasy, the name "State of Menopause" is so great. It really is fabulous.
Thank you.
So in a fantasy land, where will this company go?
Well, right now we have different lanes, right? I consider them to be different lanes. And if you go to stateofmenopause.com, please sign up for our newsletter because I'm writing it and I want all of the people that I know to get it. It's kind of funny, but more importantly, you can shop by symptom or you can shop by category. And when you shop by category, we have a state of cooling, we have a state of hydration, we have a state of rest and renew, which is really about that kind of muscle fatigue, that irritability, that exhaustion. And then we have something called state of strength. And that is when things start to kind of break down, whether your hair gets brittle or your nails start to get weak. That's what we're looking for. I am very hopeful that we are going to add another state as well. And we are iterating around products based on the idea that we want, as a CEO, I want the same audience that I had as a television personality to understand that the same trust they had in me there is the kind of trust they need to put in me here. Yeah. And part of the reason for that is I have a lot of experience as a creative brand director. So that was one thing that I knew I could carry over into CEO-ness with me. And I cannot get behind any product when I was a spokesperson or now that I didn't believe in. And if you had to media train me for it, then I wouldn't do it, right? I can either only speak from my own experience and know that a product is good or not. Yeah. And that's one of the things I love so much about State of Menopause is we created these products, 100 of us, who are all crazy perimenopausal. So I don't need a doctor or somebody to tell me what works. If it works for me, it works for me. And if it works for you, it works for you, right?
I can't sell stuff that I don't love.
Right.
I totally agree with you. And this reminds me, for everyone listening, watching, you have to follow Stacey on Instagram because it is a little bit like watching her on TV, and she's really adorable and funny.
I'm actually having a really good time with it. Sadly, my girlfriend has to sit around.
Favorite people, I never really watched the videos on Instagram, but I watch you and Tracy Ellis Ross. Those are the only videos.
Oh, on Instagram. God, what great company to be in. Yeah. But I was going to say my girlfriend is getting a little bit tired of like how many times I try recording a video and screw up a word and have to start over. And she's like, do you want me to just say it for you? Like, I mean, but the idea really is, I wanted very much people to understand that this is a journey for me. And also to be kind of the embodiment of this optimistic notion that, we are just getting started at this stage of life. And if Beverly Cleary is going to live to be 104, that's a lot of friggin' time that we have to reinvent ourselves.
Honest representation of what it's like at this age is just super, super helpful. I mean, if what we're all trying to do is demystify shame and talk about it honestly and talk about the highs and lows and just be real about it and also be inspiring because you're awesome and there's a lot to be excited about. So
well, thank you. I love you. I feel the same way about you, my darling. But really one of the things that is also very important to me is I talk a lot about multi-generational mentorship and the way that I want to prepare younger generations for what perimenopause actually is, both physiologically and psychologically. I think that there is a reason that I am able, or I feel very free and able to talk about a lot of my struggles with perimenopause and really just with grief and depression and things like that because of younger generations and because younger generations they're not really, they're not really ashamed of their feelings of being who they are in a way that we were always taught to look a certain way or act a certain way. So I feel like I was really given permission by younger generations to be very honest about my own experience. And that is something that is really important to remember here. It's like, I just think that, we tend to divide generations, like Gen Z is now saying skinny jeans are dead. All right, well, first of all, that's never going to happen, because if a skinny jean looks good on you and it makes your ass look great, then keep wearing it. All right, that's the end of that. And the reason Gen Z is like skinny jeans are dead is because they watched their parents wear them. And now they're back at the 70s. Like, nobody sort of understands that trends just come back again and again and again. But it's, it's not my place to judge. I'm just saying, from my vantage point, you don't have to worry about whether or not you're wearing skinny jeans. That is my feeling.
I will never ever wear skinny jeans, just for the record, but whatever, go on.
You wouldn't? Okay, first of all, I don't believe that for 1 second, but anyway, we'll find you the right pair. That's all that matters. So, I think so much about what this company is meant to stand for is not just, again, the different ways that you can get to menopause. I'm not just interested in talking to women my age, although I feel like that is an extremely big part of this, but also just to understand the experience of perimenopause and menopause and postmenopause. And one of the things that I find so fascinating is that, women are always called hysterical through this like patriarchal heteronormative lens, right? Because just physiologically, men's hormones do not really, they don't move very much. They stay very level over the course of their lives. So I'm like, I don't know why that is considered normal, and hormones that, ebb and flow so that we can make babies and have, periods.
It's the whole centering. White men are centered. Their experience is centered. The white experience is centered. The male experience is centered. Yeah, absolutely. There's no,
but you actually bring up the other important point here. It's not just men. It is white men. And we are not really looking at the experience. My concern, even with starting this company, was really truly to understand the health behind menopause, because it could very easily be a middle-class, heteronormative white woman's problem. Right. I mean, you could make it about like, my skin, my wrinkles, and I don't look as young as I used to look, and maybe I need a facelift. Look, I'm no judgment. I'm all for it. You do whatever you want to your face.
Yeah, that's how I
but
feel.
this is also a bigger question about women's health, and certainly women of color and health, because they are already mistreated by our health system. Absolutely. And we are not doing enough to ensure that good health care is given.
And it also intersects with, Stacey just froze.
Am I back? Am I back?
Yeah, I was about to say this also intersects with feminism, obviously, right? So obviously white feminists have been criticized. I mean, we could go down a whole rabbit hole here, but this moment where menopause is starting to be really talked about is actually a great opportunity for women and feminists to be inclusive, right? To make sure we're all in this conversation.
1,000%. And that is also why, we're very clear about what our economics look like. Like, we are a reasonably priced product line on purpose.
Yeah, you are. And it's a really good point. You are very reasonably priced. It's the same thing with us. Like, our membership is $35 a year as opposed to Chief or We Network or whatever. We're not trying to charge women hundreds of dollars a year because we really want all women.
Yeah. And also what is the point of that? Like, the elite has already made enough circles. Like, we don't, that's not, you and I, neither one of us want to contribute to that. And I think, again, I hate the word inclusive, because to me, it feels like we're letting people into a circle that already existed. Like, fuck that, right? Yeah, that's why I truly believe in diversity. The more diverse, the better. The more we name things, the better. And that even applies to the way that we talk about perimenopause, because I truly think there's something kind of magical in naming something, whether it's shame or grief or pain or fear. If we can really truly talk about those things and name them, our personal experience becomes the universal experience. And that's how we find our people.
Totally agree. I mean, that's like the credo of our community, basically, is if you talk about it and share your story, you'll realize you're normal. You'll be able to figure out how to deal with it. You'll get some answers and you'll move on. Like, that's the way we roll at the Wolfer.
But that is the way that we should roll, truly as a society. We need to seek out those who understand where we're coming from. And when you talk about the fact that 1 in 4 doctors does not feel comfortable discussing perimenopause, and that's primary care physicians and gynecologists, and that there's only 1 to 2 hours of medical training on menopause in medical school, you realize how absolutely gargantuan this problem is.
Yeah, really, really true. So this has been so great. I love you. Before we go, tell us about your campaign, your social campaign.
Yes, I know. I'm like so busy talking about like feminism and intersectionality. I'm like, guess what? There is actually a campaign. So we started our first campaign. It's called #GetLoud. And it speaks to exactly everything that we've been talking about here, in the sense that we want you to post a picture of yourself while you're experiencing a perimenopausal symptom, or how you feel about menopause, because really, again, being able to name it, get loud about it.
Wolfer, but I need to do one myself. I'll do one tomorrow.
I haven't posted mine yet. I've actually been taking quite a couple. I'm like, look at me having a hot flash. Look at me not remembering something.
A picture or a video, either, I guess.
It can be either. You can do a picture or a video, #GetLoud, tag Shop State Of. We are giving away a suite of products. We are giving away State of Menopause products and a few other brands that we think will really help women or people, in perimenopause.
I'm having a hot flash, or I'm having brain fog, or it has to be some sort of symptom.
Right, exactly. Sorry, I just got a phone call and disappeared for a second. But yes, again, every time we try to talk about the UGC, something gets in our way. But what I wanted to say about this campaign is like exactly, really what you do or how you decide to portray yourself. It could be like, this is menopause and you're dressed head to the toe to the nines. Or it could be like, I'm tearing my hair out. I don't know what to do. But the point is, if we get loud about it, then you can't be ignored.
Using a dark hair from our chin or something.
Yes. Well, I could do a gray hair chin and just name it. Right. I think I had one called Chester at one point, but that's a whole other thing. My point is that if we are doing this in a fun, proud, excited way, sorry, I keep getting phone calls. I really believe that, again, we can change the perception of what is happening to us.
No,
and certainly the perception that we're done.
I agree. And I think we are totally on that road. I mean, I think it's clear. The Times is writing about menopause every other week now, it seems. Like something is changing and we're part of it. And it's really exciting.
It is. It's really exciting. And the one thing that I feel strongly about is like, conversation is essential, but conversation without solutions is that it's conversation and community. And so it's one of the reasons that I felt so strongly about taking over the company was that we have some solutions to enter this conversation.
Yeah, we need solutions. Absolutely. It's a very good point.
So get loud.
Get loud, everyone. So tag State of Menopause. Post a picture
Shop State Of.
#State Of, #GetLoud. A picture, video of you in some state of menopause. I'll do mine tomorrow.
And it could be anything. It could be joyful. It could be miserable. We don't care. We just want to get loud about it.
Right. Okay. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, you have a great weekend. This is super fun. And we'll keep talking. State of Menopause, everyone. Stacey London.
Mwah. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
That's all for this week. Thank you so much for listening. If you identify as a woman and are over 40, please visit www.thewolfer.com, that's with 2 O's, to join our community. Raging Gracefully is produced by me, Nina Collins, and Hillary Richard, with help from Sydney Morse. And a special thanks to Storm Large, who sings our anthem, 8 Miles Wide. Take care. See you next week.
Everyone tells me I'm too much. Maybe it's just you're not enough for me. Can't you see? I'm the kind of woman I'm supposed to be.